Hi guys, I'm back with a game between Inflow, Dystopia, and State. Now, State, this will not be my first time casting, but however, for Dystopia it will be. In the lower right hand corner, spawning as our Protoss in the red trunks, he is GM. I give you State. And in the lower left hand corner, spawning as our Zerg in the blue trunks. I'm not quite sure what team he represents. Its name is Inflow. It is Dystopia. Now I'm actually not too sure about just what is going on, or what the name is, what the name of Inflow actually represents, and so on and so forth. But it looks like have fun, have fun, have fun. Good cake, good kills. I don't know. And he says, "Whoops, lol, good luck." Alright, now the only problem with the only problem I'm going to have with casting this is filling in the first few minutes, assuming that we're going to have a macro game. It may not be the case, as we do have a pylon going down here, and it's likely that we could see a gateway here, or even a forge. But let's just talk about the map for a minute. The natural here is kind of whitish open. That's a little bad for Zerg, but for Protoss it's pretty easily taken care of with a good wall off and a SimCity technique, if you will. The Overlord is actually going to be headed to the natural right now to see if there's a Forge Fast Expand going down or not, but here it is, a gateway first coming from State. I'm not sure, but like right now he's actually teamless. I'm wondering if perhaps he used to belong to Quantic. There is a TeamLiquid.net user, his name is Quantic State, as it appears on TeamLiquid.net, but yeah. And this is actually, I was thinking it was going to be a hatch first opener, but I was going to say this would have been ballsy to see, but it's not. It's a pool first into a hatch, and we have double gas coming up from State already. I'm a little curious as to what he has planned behind this. More than likely I'm thinking this is going to be Sentry Force Field Expand, if you will, but for the present he actually isn't getting optimal gas out of both. It's actually more effective to put 2 probes on each gas than it would be to put 3 on one and then 1 on the other, in case you guys didn't know already. It looks like he actually misrallied a probe. He's probably just pulled it off gas for a minute. Yeah, he put it right back on immediately afterwards, and he's got another probe going onto it. Meanwhile, the first Overlord is going to come in over here and see that there is no Forge Fast Expand, no pylon, nothing of that nature. State just says, what do you think about gate openers versus forge openers in PvZ? Gate openers are gayer to play versus... Okay, yeah, I was expecting to see something along the lines of that. But, of course, the third for both players can be relatively difficult to take, especially, you know, if you're Protoss, it's hard to make a full wall off against this, but when you're in the mid-game, heading into the late game, it's easier to kind of make a SimCity against. This one is much more wide open, and there's 2 different attack path angles, but of course, this one over here isn't much different. So really, I want to say this is a little reminiscent of Shakura's Plateau in every aspect except for the fact that there are actually 2 different directions to expo in. If this was Wings of Liberty, then it would be, I would say, a little more risky for Protoss to try and expo, but here we go, 2 Zealots out and on the way for State. He's gonna... This will, of course, be spotted by the Ling here on the watchtower, so yeah. And it looks like the Zealots are not presently concerned with getting the watchtower, so we're gonna see that Dystopia is gonna have the adequate number of units to hold off against this, and it looks like, you know, I'm pretty surprised that Dystopia was not absolutely shocked that he was facing off against a GM, so maybe he isn't really a Diamond League player, maybe he's just now getting back into Heart of the Swarm and he actually had a super high MMR, but here we go. Mothership Corps is going to follow suit with the Zealots and try and poke around, see what they can do, but right now it just seems like they're dancing left and right, left and right, left and right. And they're going to go check and see if there's an early third. 3 gateways going down to help build a full wall off at the natural for State. Meanwhile, we have State sending the Zealots up here, seeing nothing except an Overlord. He decides to turn back, and I'm pretty sure... Ooh, wait a minute. This drone has been picked up on. Oh, no! And that's going to delay the expo of Dystopia for just a little bit longer. Lings are going to come out here and see what they can do to deal with it. But will the Mothership Core get a kill? Just barely, not so. Hatchery being built right now, immediately queued up. And that is an excellent time warp right there. The Mothership Core really adding to the DPS of the engagement. And the Zealots come back into the time warp, safely shielded. And it looks like they will barely survive. But 2 more Lings come in. And oh my god, that is some really nice micro. You know, just look at that. That is 10 kills. 15 lane kills altogether. Actually, one of them would happen to be a drone. So that's 15 units lost altogether, totaling up to about 400 minerals. A bunch of sentries here. And there's nothing really too dissident or bad about the opener that we see from State. He's actually getting gases right now. It's the only problem with this kind of opener. It requires you to get your natural gases later. Looks like he's actually building workers to put more on gas relatively soon. He's actually 1 worker short of gas on the right extractor, and another time warp going down, but it's not going to save these Zealots, I think. No, sir. But those force fields might. Yes, there's a box of pain here. Box of pain is basically when you make enough force fields to keep your Lings from getting out. Or Ling Lasso, if you will. There is one thing that we need to see from Dystopia to prevent himself taking more damage. That would be, very simply, very adequately, pumping out more Lings. And we say that there's both a Stargate follow-up and a Twilight Council follow-up. So I'm a little curious to see just where this is going to go. I'm thinking, you know, for the later game, it could mean Sky Toss, it could mean High Templar, Void Ray composition mostly. And here we go. We got 12 Roaches, 13 about to pop, some of them at the 3rd, and they are rallied over here. Force fields, not really wasted, but I think that was a bit of overkill on the Queen. I apologize for the hiccup that I just hit on the stream. And here we go. Looks like the sentries and the Zealots are going to try and get in here and get a kill on the 3rd. Yeah, it looks like they might just succeed in doing that. It all depends on whether or not the sentries decide to focus it down, but it looks like they are opting to get out of there. Beautiful force fields, just fully walling off there and keeping the Roaches from chasing down the sentries. The question is the story any different off creep? Let's check the speed. I'm not sure how fast a Roach moves versus a sentry, but they both have the same movement speed off creep, so I think this is really, superficially speaking, maybe a slight waste of the time that Dystopia has. Amazing that his 3rd is still alive. I just want to say that much right now. And of course we have the Mothership Core here, just basically keeping an eye on what's going on. And here we go. We'd have Dystopia no longer oblivious to what is going on, at least not entirely. His opponent is going for a Blinkstalker Phoenix composition is what I think we're going to see. Yes, he's still cranking out Phoenixes. And this is actually a rather pesky build, but it's still a Wings of Liberty classic, if you will. And in response to the Roaches, we do see that an Immortal was cranked out. Probe's getting pulled off the line to deal with 1 Ling that got through the SimCity. And now we see that the 3rd is under attack again, and it will fall. Pesky forward pylons, yeah. Protoss OP. So altogether, I want to say excellent multitasking by State. I was wondering why for just a moment he was actually taking so much damage at his natural. Well, I mean, why he let that Ling get in without dealing with it for a while. He must have had his vision over here, having the Zealots focus down the hatchery. You know, he's really thinking 2 steps ahead. He threw this pylon down thinking, okay, well, alright, if I don't kill it with the initial Sentry Zealot push, then maybe I can get it with some leftover Zealots. And now we have the Lings finally catching onto that pylon, and it will be taken down. But of course, we also have the Phoenixes coming in here as well. And what are they going to do? Alright, well, they see that there are Overlords, kind of just scattered a teeny bit, and now they're actually gathered around the Spore Crawler here. It looks like this Queen will not fall? There we go, yes, it does fall, and both the Overlords are getting pulled and put onto the Spore Crawler line. Spire going down behind this, but unfortunately another Queen will fall, and these Phoenixes are kind of paying for themselves in the process. One does fall, unfortunately. And they're kind of just sticking around there. I think it's dangerous, but of course we also have the multitasking of State being taxed right now. He's actually got a lot of Roaches to deal with. That is quite a few Immortals as well. And I would say, so far, this seems to be the reminiscent of a classical Wings of Liberty play. That is to say, Stefano-style Roach Hydra, or Stefano-style Roach versus, a Phoenix Immortal Twilight Council sort of play, if you will. All I can tell you guys is that basically if it's got a Twilight Council and it's got a Stargate in it, then basically it could have been done in Wings of Liberty as well, for the most part. Forward pylon going down, basically just denying a little bit more forward vision for State, and of course this one's going to be taken down as well. We see that State is actually, you know, superior right now. It appears an army supplied, though not by a huge lead. It is always good to be in this position as Protoss. The only thing that can really kill him right now would be if he were to walk onto a huge mass of Baneling landmines. Yes. Now I'm not entirely sure if Dystopia actually knows that his opponent has Blink, but on 3 base that is more than viable, more than expected, and looks like we have another forward pylon being taken down. Not offensive, but of course a trip mine pylon, if you will. That is to say, if State wants to know that his opponent's coming at him to attack, then that pylon falls first. Time Warp going down, 1 Roach does fall, but that's about it. And behind this we actually have mutas in production for Dystopia. I kind of like this tech switch up. It's not a bad idea, considering a good deal of what we see here in the composition is not anti-air, but this is just way too many Phoenixes, I think, for Dystopia to handle. He does have Corruptors in the composition, but that, you know, it still takes a lot of shots for Phoenixes to take them down. And I'm not sure, like, what group would do. I'm not sure which of these two masses would prevail if they were to go head to head. It's one of those very few seen engagements, if you will. Lings and Roaches walking right into the path of some pylons that should be thrown down. It looks like everything in between's just been basically picked up because there's so many Phoenixes here. And now we should see that Dystopia knows what's coming his way. There's a lot of Phoenixes, there's a lot of Stalkers, there's some Immortals in the composition. And basically every time a Roach gets lifted up off of the ground, an Angel earns its wings. I'm kidding. Actually what happens is they're not allowed to shoot. They can't attack. So basically they are kind of, you know, kind of shafted in that aspect. But right now, you know, income-wise, things are all too much in favor of Protoss. There's a lot of Lings here, there's a lot of Roaches, there's very few sentries with force fields. But here we go. This is looking like it could be a bad engagement for Dystopia. Look, there's only 2 Immortals, or 2 Corruptors left. And it looks like these Phoenixes are going to slowly but surely prevail over them. 4 of them get pulled back. And they are all on the same hotkey, but only a handful of them actually got warped back a moment ago. Ling's trying to make a run-by happen at the 3rd, I guess? No, it's just this great pylon wall of China that's being taken down. And behind this we actually see that Dystopia is taking his 4th, but Ling's try to come in for a surround. The 2 sentries throw down their force fields as effectively as possible, and now there's no more energy left on them for that. And Dystopia's army is actually getting raffle stomped right now. We need to see him pull back if he wants to really win this game. Infestation Pit going down behind this, so I'm a bit curious. Are we going to see pathogen glands go into research or hive tech immediately afterwards? Unfortunately, it looks like some of these Roaches did get misrallied, or they just ran straight into the army line. Here we go. And it looks like we have a Ling run by trying to happen here. And unfortunately, it looks like they misclicked on the gateway. They're not being microed at all. My mistake. Alright, now we have another, what appears to be attempted run by, but there's just too many Zealots here. I'm just thinking this is not safe for Dystopia whatsoever, and we see State pushing back. I'm thinking this could be, the death knell. We do have the Hive going down behind this, but we don't have any significant tech. We don't have, any Infestation Pit specific tech out yet. No swarm hosts, no enduring locusts, no pathogen glands being researched. And behind this, let's just check and see what the end comes at. It's at 1400 to 1600. I'm thinking maybe State's thinking, okay, well, let me practice my macro. This guy's only diamond. Maybe, just maybe. He could also be experimenting with compositions. Not a bad idea considering Void Rays and Immortals both get buffs against armored units. And it looks like we won't be seeing any... Prismatic Alignment is activated, but they're all too busy targeting down the Oh my god, this actually looks really good for Dystopia. He actually managed to take down a significant deal of the Army of State. If we can see now, he's basically warping in more units somewhere else. Another Void Ray does join the fray here. But right now, we need to see Dystopia become conscious of the fact that roaches and lings cannot attack flying units. I know he's thinking, okay, well, if I make Hydras, there's just so many Phoenixes that they're going to get raffle stomped. And we finally see his choice of anti-air would be in the form of pathogen glands, and now we see some lings trying to run back by here, as well as some roaches, taking down the forward pylon, if you will. And right now, I think a smart choice would be for him to try and attack the 4th base, although I think he's not entirely aware that it's there just yet. We have 10 infestors on the way just in time. The pathogen glands will finish up just in time to let them have enough energy for fungal growths. Oh, no, they won't. No, they won't. They will not finish up in time. They will be finished long before those pathogen glands are done with. So here we go. We just have to basically pray that he lands beautiful infested Terrans. Some of them will finish up in time for pathogen glands, but these guys are not. They're actually in some deep trouble right now. Alright, so here we go. Void Rays coming in. Are they going to activate prismatic alignment or not? They do, but they run away immediately. There's a lot of infested Terrans on the ground. Phoenixes, not the best choice to use against them. And here we go, some more infestors just coming back into the fray. And it just seems like it's an all-too-lucky situation for Dystopia. He's actually down 70 supply right now. So this is actually, you know, it's hard to say, you know, can he actually come back from this game? Colossi being added to the mix as well. And now we see nothing but infestors coming out from Dystopia. That is a lot. How many is that so far? 10? And he's already got 9 more in production, so that's going to be 19 out into the battlefield altogether. And I'm thinking this is a Manor Nexus right here. And we do see that state is ready to move in for the kill. High Templar is also there. Feedbacks will take down anything that comes their way. Phoenix is trying to make something happen in the main, and it looks like his main aim there is just to throw them away. Corruptors here. Zealots. Void Rays. Yeah. Alright. Beautiful fungal growth going down, but unfortunately the Phoenixes lift up what they can. Beautiful fungal growth again, and storms going down instead of feedbacks. And these High Templar are just like, okay, well, I don't care if you guys have the infested Terrans or the fungal growth. I'm just going to push into this and see what happens. And some of these infested Terrans are ready to go. It looks like all the infestors are now out of energy. And after the High Templar throw their storms down, they actually turn into Archons. There it is, the GG from Dystopia. You know, was this Manor base really necessary? Come on, bro. You knew at the loading screen he was only in Diamond League, right? Well, I don't know. I mean, the colors are kind of, you know, they're kind of deceptive. But yeah, at any rate, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.